Okay, recording is running. Hello everybody, we are in the Microservices lectures joint of University of Kassel and University of Douala, and it is about our third lecture. And we are still trying to build a microservice system with a warehouse and a shop, an online shop. And so there were some complaints recently saying that I should tell a little bit more about the overall structure of the system. Before I start with that, the German phrase is Restekiste. So the English would be something like, let's pick up some open topics from the exercises. I got the expression that most guys are dealing very well with the exercises. They are actually achieving good results, and so I'm pretty happy with it so far. So most of you are going along with the system pretty well. So some were saying, oh yeah, we would like to see a little bit more about what is the overall picture. So I'll try to do this. So we are going for an architecture that consists of something like a warehouse client. And I think my picture is on the wrong side down there. It's not too bad. We have a warehouse client here, which will be a web application, a single page web application running with React. So this is what we are programming right now. This will be complemented with a service, a backend service running in the cloud that is actually storing all the data from all the different sources. So there might be hundreds or thousands or millions of these here. And then they all will work against the same backend servers where the actual data is managed and the business logic is managed and the data is stored permanently. To store data, there will be a database, and we will actually in this lecture use an event store which is not exactly a database but very similar, and I'm sorry for here it is. And well, yeah, it's fine. Okay. And no, everything's good. This is the first something that altogether might be phrased as a microservice. I'm not yet really safe. So Sebastian, would you say this first pillar here is a microservice altogether? Or only the lower two parts or something like that? Yeah, so these two form a microservice, and this is the view or the user interface on that microservice. So self-contained service. Oh, cool. Okay, we have for a second pillar here, which is the shop. So there will be an online shop to be done in the second half of the lectures, which has again a backend service which is living in the cloud and which uses another event store. So very important for our architecture is that these two event stores, these two services do not share a common database, but each of them has its own database. And so this actually separates these two, and this is a major idea coming from microservices and that we pick up here. So I was explaining all this so far with this event storming picture, and I understand that we need a little bit more here. So the event storming picture has, you can't read it right now, a lot of different things that are going on in our warehouse and shop. And so we have picked the very, very first of these events here, and they started to lay out screens, identify users, having actions that are done and these kinds of stuff. And this is a requirements engineering technology that or methodology that helps you to get an idea of what you actually need to implement. However, you need to really get a view of the structure of your client. So this is again the warehouse client. You actually need to dig into details. So what is actually going on? And so we have for a first screen when you're going into you start the service, which is the enter screen, and this one says enter, and it has asked for an email and has an OK button. If you click OK, and this is an email that is not yet known to the system, you will be routed to the register page. And so on. And I would like to show you this in more detail here. This is the event storming diagram, and I've actually copied this thing down here. And we need to, go into this a little bit. It's Control Alternative Plus. So we were actually, doing more details of this user registered thing. Nope, does not work. And here we were, so user registered. Then we identified there is Bob, and he visits the enter screen, and it's 1 p.m. in the afternoon. And he adds Bob. So this is an example scenario where we actually have current values and these kinds of stuff. And because there is no user Bob yet, we go for the register page, add the real name, add the secret, and we go to the main page, which is this page here. And in another scenario, we would do other things. So this example-based outline of behavior is very good if you talk to a customer in a requirements engineering phase. So it actually is for most non-computer scientists, it is really hard to deal with class diagrams and structure diagrams. They prefer examples. And concrete examples really help you to talk to people from other disciplines, to business people, administrative people that usually have big problems to come up with abstract concepts. So, however, you need to talk to these business people because they are the domain expert. They actually know what's going on in your warehouse and in your shop and how things work. And you are asked to implement these things, and therefore you actually need to talk to them. And the idea is to use examples and these kinds of paperwork here to talk to them. Later on, you will actually analyze all these examples, and then you come up with this structure diagram that I've shown you here. And look at the difference. Can you see that? It's here, the time is now missing. And here it's prompting you with the empty field. It's not filled by Bob or something like that. I will increase it a little bit more. Here we can see it now very well. So, in the example, it says, come on, where is it? It's 1301, and we enter Bob. If you go down into this overview, warehouse client routing diagram, I would call it, it says, okay, no matter what time it is, if you are in the enter page, it will look like this. And then you have to fill it, and then you press OK. And if what you have done here is a new email, you go for the register page and have these fields to be filled. If the email is already known, then you go for the login screen and only ask for the password. If that is a success because you have done the right password, you go for the main page. If it's an error because it's the wrong password, you go back to the enter page. So this is all the cases covered in a single diagram and tells you from which page you jump to which page. It does not yet contain actually the actions that are behind the scene. These are missing. It could be added here too, but I first of all wanted to give this overview. And this is then what you are actually going to implement. Okay. That gives you a rough overview where we are. And so actually we need, now comes a very embarrassing part of it. Well, the thing is, let me increase that. Come on. Okay. This is the web warehouse. That one shall go away. Yeah. So this is the app TSX that we have been building, and I have had the idea to use something like a current page in order to do this routing between pages, to go from one page to the other. And we were actually doing pretty well, and then, but it was still here in the render function, we had a long chain of if it is this, or if current page is like that, then run this page, else run this page, else run this page. And this if then else is something that you do not want to have in your program. It's very bad style, and it will very soon result in a complexity that you would like to avoid. And so I tried to use something like a hash table in here, where I could ask for, hey, if I go for /register, so what is the page that I should show? I was finally, so it took me about 2 or 3 hours on Saturday, on the weekend, in order to get this running. It is possible and would work, and I think but it required, well, quite some, in German I would call it voodoo, or some, well, pretty complex tricks that only TypeScript offers you. So after all, I was not happy with my solution. I had the idea to use something which is much simpler than the official thing that React offers, and it turns out, no, it's just the same thing. And well, in the preparation of the last 2 weeks, I had the idea I'm a lot smarter than these React people, and I learned the hard way, no, it's not true. And within this lecture, I say, okay, if the official way to do it is, well, just the same as you do it, then it would be better if we go the official way in this lecture, so that you students actually know what's going on and get the same, well, idea, and that when you work in industry later on, if you have real projects with other people, that you know the official React way. So we do the official React way. Therefore, we use a special package. Let me get that one. Property have supplier. Yeah, I was preparing that yesterday, and I left it in a state that does not work. So yeah, so where's the problem? Main state. Yet it has a supplier. Come on. Failed to comply. Just give me a second. I just repair that. so that it compiles again, and then we see. Oh yeah. Come on. This.props main state have supplier, and this is a problem in. Hey, compiled with warnings, that's fine. There are some things that are not used, and that's okay. What I actually wanted to show to you is, let's have another terminal. We need to install something. And what we need to add is we need to add the React Router DOM. That is the official library that is used for this changing between different or navigating between different pages or changing pages if you do it the official React way. Therefore, you need to add React Router DOM. Next, you need to add the types that belong to React Router DOM. There is a lot of documentation. If you Google for React Router DOM, that will actually help you very much in how is this actually working. And once we have done that, we can go for, no, not main. Yeah, I wanted to go for app. And let's get rid of the other stuff. Yeah, very good. So, what we are doing now is, if you want to use the official React router, is this router or router? It's router, is it? Who knows? So I stick with router. You need, as in your app.tsx, as top level thing or tag router, which actually tells React or the React routing thing that, well, the content of this tag here might change if we navigate to another page. Within this thing, you need, or you want to have something which is called a switch, which is a chain of different routing targets. So, and within the switch, you have a route or multiple routes. These are actually, if you want to go to the /enter page, show this. If you want to register, show this. If you want to log in, show this. If you want to go for the main page, show this. If you want, don't tell me, redirect to /enter, go to the enter page. Well, not too hard, is it? Well, this is the way they actually do it. There are some conventions. You need the router, you need the switch, you need all the routes. And that's basically the thing that the app TSX now does. It actually switches between the different things. Okay, and here we actually call the different pages, and that's basically what needs to be done. I'm wondering whether we should go into the enter page now. Yeah, let's do that. Let's have a look into one of the pages. This is the enter page. We have again the render. That one looks pretty much the same as it has been looking before. So there's, I can't see anything. So we have this input field for email. We have the on-click action. That's pretty much the same that we have had last week. Okay. What has changed is the enter button action, which is here. And so this is all the same stuff that we have had. And formerly we used this app set state to change the current page to the target page where we wanted to go to. The current page is no longer used. Instead, we use this props history push login. This tells the router to go to the login page. Unfortunately, in order to get this working, I need some more things. So your React component must have properties or props that have this history attribute. So you want to access this history attribute here, and this one needs to be inherited, and it needs to be part of your props. Your props are defined here with a props type, and we have had different properties for every page. We have had enter props, register props, login props, and these kinds of stuff. And actually they were all very much the same. Therefore, I introduced a new type, page.props, and replaced all the different props types with this single type. Page props has this app state and app set state. That is pretty much the same that we were having. However, the page props type extends route component props, something that you get from this React Router DOM library. And that one actually has this history thing in it, and then you can access the history. So replace all these login props and all these stuff that we have had with this new thing here, and then that part works. And that's almost everything that you need. And there's some more trick that cost me some 2 hours to find out. What you also need to do is you need to wrap your component into this with router call. This is doing voodoo. That is exactly the same kind of voodoo that I was needing. The with router is again stemming from the React Router DOM library. And the problem is that, let's go back here, the enter component needs to access the router object that is up the tree in this hierarchy a little bit. And that's a tricky way. So we need actually to pass this router thing that actually has the history down to this thing here. And that's a little bit tricky. And what this with router actually does, it takes this type and wraps the constructor using a lot of TypeScript magic and tells the constructor, oh, please travel up the hierarchy, find the routing object, grab the history, and add it to the props. So to have a real value in this history field, you need this strange thing here. Okay, you find it in the documentation, just do it this way, we are done. So the same thing needs to be done with all of the pages. So also for the, where am I? For the register page. We have also this export default without root register here. And before that, it was export default class register. So you can actually split this in two things. You have a usual class and have this export default down here. Okay, here we are. Now let's go for the registers. Good, is it? Okay, the register works the same way. The OK action now uses also this props history push main instead of current page getting main. Yeah. Just give me a second, I'll move that one over there. Yeah, I hope that's better to see. Okay, here we are. Register. There's some more things going on here. Let's go for the main page. That was not very much done last week, I think. I have added a little bit to it. We might want to have a look at it. So I am running Cypress. We should rerun it. Okay, my main page is looking like this right now. It has the lockout button and the suppliers button and nothing else. Oh, let's do a lockout. That's fine. Let's go for Bob. So Bob is already known, so we'll go for the login page. It should be secret. Okay, and I go for the main page. Yeah. Okay, I already have this suppliers here, but I actually would like to explain this lockout button here because it's implemented in a different way. Lockout. It's this one. So, usually our buttons have a click action, on click. And the on click action then does this.props.history.push target page. If you, well, in the enter page, there are two different target pages. Let's have a look at it. So the enter page has two different target pages. If it is a new email, I go for register. If it's a known email, I go for login. This decision needs to be done in the OK button action. However, okay, this one is still, no, ha. The lockout action in the main page always sends you back to the enter page. So there's no decision, it's always true. And because this is always true, there's a trick, that an easier way to implement this. You can actually wrap your button into a link thing, a link tag. A link is actually something stemming again from React Router DOM. And it actually says, oh, I'm a link, you can click me, and then I will send you to a certain page. And so you can say, oh, please, if this thing is clicked, send me to the enter page. Done. Very simple thing. And then we do not need these button action. We do not need a constructor that binds this in the button action and these kinds of stuff. And so it's much simpler if you have a simple button to implement it this way. Okay, you could actually omit the button thing here and just have a text. That would work too. Then it would be a usual hyperlink. Okay. Let's go for this main suppliers link here. Yeah, so that's the next thing that we are doing today. We would like to, well, split our overall application or web client into multiple bigger parts or modules or how you name it. And And currently in the root component, the app TSX, we have the enter, register, login page and the main page. Our main page will finally have a lot of things. Logout, suppliers, products, orders, arrivals, picking, coming up the next week. Today we will do something in the suppliers area. And I do not want to crowd my first switch here, my entry page with all the sub pages of main. And therefore we do nested routing. So we do we say, okay, main gets again such a switch statement, and then we have a two-step routing. So I go for the main thing here, and this main thing is going to be embedded. So this one here is going to be expanded, and we are living within such a router thing and within such a switch thing. And we just go down here and say, okay, and there's another switch, and that says, if it's exactly the path /main, we show the main page. And if it's main suppliers edit, we show suppliers edit. And if it's main suppliers, we show main. We show the suppliers page. Suppliers is yet another page, and we can have a look at it in the web thing. So if you click on suppliers, we go to a new page. Okay. We click on suppliers, we follow this link here. Come on. No, I need to do it this way. So we follow the suppliers link, we come up into this page here. You guys can actually open this diagram within your thing. Do you still have access to my Google presentation? It was somewhere in the Discord. Do you ask me to put it there again? Yeah, you do. Discord. Things that you should not see. Get it out. No. It's just the very wrong thing. Installation summary. I'll put it here. And if you follow that link, you should be able to open that slide. Oh, many people have done that. Okay, it's here, great. And then you can go to slide number 13 and you just click on this one here. You get a link and then you can actually jump to this diagram. And if you do that, I have it 2 times. Some of you are showing up. Great. Then you can actually scroll around yourself and orientate yourself, and hopefully you are not able to edit. Okay, so the supplier page. There we will actually do this supply thing. We will have a button on the top that brings us back to the main page. I should have a link, an arrow here. I'll add it later. Then the title of the page. Then a button saying, oh, here you can add a new supplier. Then at the bottom we will have a list of suppliers that is already known. And you can actually search for a certain supplier with this search field and this search button that will actually shrink this list to the suppliers that match the search pattern. And then for each supplier which is shown here, you can click on it like a button, and it will open an edit page where you can change the properties of that supplier. So here you can edit, for example, Spain and say I would like to change some of the properties of Spain. And I think I have not yet done this. If you go from the add, you go to main suppliers edit, which again has a button that sends you back to main. I actually don't like it. Let's change that to, go back to the suppliers. And then this link here needs to change. It should send you back here. Okay. Here you can edit one supplier, and the supplier currently has a name field, an email field, and an OK button. If you press the OK button, it sends you back to main suppliers, and the new supplier should be part of this list. That's basically the thing that we will do well in the homework today, this week. I think so. Okay. Homework, good point. Assignment 3. Use React routing. And I have explained what needs to be done. Okay, there's some more coming soon, and I think I'll show that one now. We can have a short look into. So this is suppliers page. It's all fine, and it goes to the add suppliers thing here, and that says link to main suppliers edit. Okay, and we need to go for main. Yeah, we have main suppliers edit, and it says this is this one here. Okay, this main things. There's more about it. Yeah. I'll go into that one via the debugger. So we will have a look later on here. Or yet? Or now? No, later on. Before that, we need to do something more to Cypress. I have extended the Cypress tests a lot. And the problem was that I extended the scenario with something like, okay, the first step was to show this one here. I can actually, it should be easier to do it here. Come on. So Bob visits the enter page and adds the email. Bob adds his credential, registers. Bob's logs out again. Then Carly logs in. Let's have a look at that one. So this is already the register page where Carly is going to provide his name and his password. And after that, Carly logs out again. Yeah. And then Bob comes back. That is done here. So Bob is going to, well, enter his email first. Then because Bob is now known, we go for the login page. And yeah, then Bob starts to add the supplier. The point was, I was playing this scenario here, and when Bob was entering the second time, his data was gone. And I had a real problem that I could not figure out what's going wrong in my application. And so I identified the need that in our test, we need really to check whether our internal data model changes as we are expecting it. And therefore, I needed to extend the tests. And I will show you how I have done that. And I'll ask you as your homework for this week to do the same things. Just to learn how Cypress can do that. And it's a lot of voodoo and a lot of things. So we need to go for the source code of our thing, and I will show it just here in the debugger that comes with the Chrome editor. So I use, this is Chrome after all, the Chrome web browser. And if you hit F12, so my one opens the debugging that allows you to do that. And you can do that for any HTML-based page. And I have added to the file system my web warehouse folder. And so I can actually go through it. And so this is the app.tsx thing here. And you can actually even edit in here, which is not recommended. And let's make this a little smaller and this, and put that one over here, and actually close that one. No, not the whole thing. Hide debugger, here we are. Okay. And I can also see the warehouse spec, the test definition. So Bob ordered red shoes. First thing that you need to add is you need Cypress React selectors. Usually, so actually Cypress is running a second, well, JavaScript virtual machine, a second service. So actually when we run Cypress, we have one thing that reads the test specification, and then it opens the web page and does something on our application code. Our application itself, the web warehouse, is running in another thread, in another thing, in a separate memory space, as a separate process in our computer. And so usually it's very hard for the Cypress thing to access data in your React application. It is easy for the Cypress thing to access the HTML page that is running here. So it can actually analyze, oh, here, what are the fields, and get all these things. But go beyond that and look into the React elements, that's hard. And there is an extension to Cypress, which is the Cypress React selector that is allowing us to do this. That one needs to be installed. And that is done here, and it's done here, and that one is here. Yarn add -d is only for debugging time or development time, hopefully. And then it says, download this library Cypress React selector. And I hope that is it now. Yeah, then you can actually start it. So we need that one. And I put that on the list that you actually want to install this and that you want to use this in your tests. So one homework is please extend your Cypress test in order to check some things of your model in order to get that working. Okay. So, and there is of course a lot of voodoo that needs to be done, or preparations that needs to be done to get this working, to get this Cypress React selector working. the first thing that you really need to do is you need, for some reason, to have something like this before. So in order to enable Cypress to really visit your elements, you need your application to be really started. And what you actually want to do is something like this wait for React. And so this sci-visit first was here in the first step. You needed to do before you can actually start with the testing. So that is what the documentation says, and if you do not stick to it, it does not work. So I have no idea what exactly is the reason, however you need that. And the next thing is that in order to access the React elements, it needs somehow access to some root element within your HTML DOM tree. And therefore, in our app.tsx, I have directly beyond the or below the router thing this div with ID root that ends here. I have added this because the documentation says I need to do that, and then this ID may be added here, and this gives Cypress access to the root of your DOM tree, of your HTML tree, and then it can work. Sorry for that, just type it like that. Or look up the documentation for this one here. Actually, that documentation is pretty lousy. It's not very good. Okay, this one is all the same that it was before. And here I'm going to use it. So Bob adds his credentials to the register page. That is all the thing that we have. We actually could run this. Let's do it. I have clicked on this line here, which actually creates a breakpoint, and so the debugger is going to stop on that line as soon as we hit this. Can I actually get rid of this? Yeah, that's cool. So we are here, and that is the current state. The register page just shows, and we look for the name input, and I can click here, it's F10. So I have a name input now, and it actually says I have a chainer, whatever this is. Recall that the test is living on another page or another browser tab as your real application. So your test cannot really refer to things that are in your real application. And there's some threading issues here, and therefore there is a chainer wrapped around your actual data, and you need to do something like that, complex with it. So then you type Bob Warehouse, so have a look here, that should work by now, it's F10. Yeah, it is, but it did not re-render, so it does not show yet. I think it should show, it doesn't. So we get the password input field, we type secret, we click on OK. Nothing changes, will show soon. So, and then we would like to know, so if you click on OK, that should have executed a certain action that was actually adding something to our application. We could have had a breakpoint in our application code too. I have no idea why that is possible, but I did not do it yet. So what we now want to do is to check our state. So the app state actually, whether it is, it knows Bob. Let's have a look in the code. It should be in app, it should be in enter. No, it's register, sorry. Register. So the OK action should have run, and it should have set a current user, and it should have called have user. So we should have in our app state, we should have these things. So let's have a look at the app state. App state. We should have a current email, we should have a current user, and there is a list of users, and have user should have inserted our new user into this list. And that didn't work for some reason in my application, and so I said, okay, I need actually my test to ensure that this worked right and to fix this problem. So let's go back to the warehouse spec test. So what did I do? I installed this selector package, React selector package, and so now I can use the command sci.getReact. The getReact comes from this thing here, and then I give the type of component I am looking for. There's a lot of different kinds of things that you can write down here. You can actually use selectors and all the complex, something like this one here. You can ask for class types. You can even have more complex things. I said, okay, I have just one app component, and I would like to access the state of that app component, and therefore it's fine to look for it in here. So this gives me, hopefully, the app component. If I do that, I again get something with a chainer, so it's wrapped by something. Damn it. Still, I can call get current state. You can also call get props. Then you get the properties or the props attribute of your component, or you can say get current state, then you get the state of your current component. Okay, let's do that. State. And of course, this is again such a chainer thing. It's still a wrapper around the actual state. And well, you can actually do some testing on that wrapper object. You can call should. And then there comes something that tells you the question you have. And I say, oh, it should include. And then I give an object that I would like to find contained in the state attribute. And I say, I would like to have a current email thing with Bob add W with this element here. And luckily, in our case, this works. However, I didn't find good documentation for what can you actually write here. And how do you, well, I have the state and I would like to look into the users of that state in this list. And then I would like the first to know whether the length of this list is 1 and the first element is our user object. And didn't identify how I could express this in here. And then I found another thing. You can call then on your wrapper object, and then you pass a lambda expression. So you pass a function that gets the real data as a parameter. And if you execute that, it will call this function and do something like that. And if you just go a step over, we won't see it. So I put another breakpoint in here and say the debugger go on. And then this stops again within this function here. And now I can have a look at the data. And data is an object with a current email Bob W.com with a current user. And I can actually well, we should probably look here. Here's data. There's a current email. Yeah, it's pretty small here. there is the users. It's an array of length 1, and user 0 is B1 with the email Bob, with name Bob, with password. Hey, that's exactly what I wanted. So within the then, I can have a lambda expression, a function which has a parameter data, and this data now gives me actually access to my data that is running in my application. And then I can do the things that you usually do. I say, okay, data, get the users. Users of with number 0 is the first user. And now I want to check whether the first user has the properties I wanted. I did it with expect because I did not know how to do it with should. Sebastian, could I do this should?
I expect the right thing on that point.
Okay, he says expect is not too bad here. Expect is just another thing to check some conditions. And I expect the first user's name to equal Bob Warehouse. Okay? And I would like to see something like this in your test on Thursday. Cool. Okay, let's go on. I probably should put another breakpoint here because I have no idea if I do just next where this is going to go. I have no idea. Yeah, so I'm now somewhere in Cyprus. I don't want to be there. Cyprus runner, no, I'm not interested. So, next step. Bob logs out again. So this is the main page. We have the logout and the suppliers. Can you see that? Okay. And you cannot see what's up here. It's not too bad. Yeah, better. Good. So, this is the get logout button. Click on it. No problem. Okay. Again, the runner. So I'll stop here. This is the Kali is going to log in. Okay, Kali, okay. Name input, password, contains, Kali logs out. And so at this point in time, we should have 2 users in our data. And I did a stupid mistake, but actually it was working up to this point of time. But let's just go through it again. I again ask for the app component, ask the app component for its state, do a then on the state, look for the users, and I expect that the users.length equals 2 now, that we have 2 entries in the users array. And that then I look for, oh, it's still first user, that's no good. I should change this into second user. Or just user. Yeah. And this one too. Okay, if I save this, it will restart something. No, it should work. So this change is now actually done to the file system. So it will be visible in Visual Studio Code 2. You can edit here. You could actually develop the whole application within this thing here. However, it's not as comfortable as doing it in Visual Studio Code. So you do not have completion and type checking and these kinds of stuff as comfortable as Visual Studio Code has it. So it's not a good idea to do it in here. But for such small fixes, it's fine. So it did not restart the application. So the application is still using the old thing. So it should still have something like first name or something like that. But I'm not going to debug into it. It's how it's good. So I look up user with number 1. So user 0 is Bob. User 1 should be Kali forklifter, and I do this check, and hopefully this is going to work. Yeah, it is reaching this. There's still a green something here, so it did work. We should actually see how it looks when such a thing fails. I'll put something here, and then it will fail next time that we run the test. Okay. So Bob comes back and goes to log in, and there I didn't do anything special. And then we go for Bob's going to do supply in Italy. That's coming soon, so we can just go and let it run. Yeah, cool. I close that one and give this one a little bit more space. And here you see a red something. So these steps were working, and the step Kali logs in has failed. And you can actually go into these steps of this. So it get email input seemed to work. Type Kali. Press the OK button or click on it. Then you go for a new URL, you get the name input, so all these steps were working, great. And then there is this one here, where I actually did a log thing. Oh, let's have a look at that one. This was Kali logs in and registers. Okay, here I was again checking this one here, and where did I do the sci.log? Please?
61 is where you change the line.
This one?
Yeah, you added 2 to there, and this is the part which affects.
Yeah, and I was printing this state, and I can't find that one.
Not there. There's no print.
No print.
No print.
And where does this come from? Current state found. He just does it. Okay. Oh, let's have it. So, okay, no problem. Close. So it says there is an assertion that I expected to have 2 users, and it has actually 2 users. Great. And we expected Kali forklifter, this is the name that we find, to be equal to Kali 2 forklifter, and that did not work. It's an assertion error, and therefore, and it shows exactly the line in our code that failed. So this is if you have a condition that fails. No, I didn't want to stop it. F12, I wanted to go in here again. So I fix this, and next time it should work. And there's something that I would like to do in addition. Yeah, I would like to add a statement here, which is sci.log. And I use these double vacuum quotes to have some. Can you read that? Who can read that? Anybody listening here? Yeah, some guys are still looking. Great. I use this sci.logs with this backquote, and I can actually put a message in here. My state is now. I do a \n for a new line. I do a $, and then I do a JSON. Come on, stringify. I would like to give this out, and I would like to print out the data, and I do not want to change something on it, and I would like to have it indented with 3 blanks. Hopefully that works. So I just have saved this, and that should run now. Still, scillogs is not a function. Yeah, I've had this, and I wonder, so it's not scillogs, but it is, let's try that one. And if it's not that one, yeah, that one worked. So, and I can go into this, and then it should, here it gives you another message within this Cypress, well, step description. With my state is now user and then all the data, and it's not pretty printed. Damn it. So why not? I'm unhappy. Perhaps we should have done a console.log, but I think it's better here. Okay, cool. At least it works. So, it's we still have 20 minutes left. Great, we are good in time. Bob adds supplier Italy. It clicks on the supplier button. It clicks on the add button. It looks for supplier name input and edits Italy. It looks for the supplier email input and edits shoes@roma.italy. And we click on the OK button. Okay. Let's have a short look on how this works, and then we are actually at the stage that I wanted to achieve, and which will actually be, well, part of your homework. Okay. So it will bring back you to this list of suppliers. And so actually I would now like to show the list of suppliers that is already known below this here, which is missing here. And I don't think that we are going to be able to reach this state today. Okay, but so we have some 20 minutes. Should we stop right here, or?
Do not do too much. Yeah, this one point is okay, I think.
Let's have. So we have some minutes. So just to be clear. So what we are discussing here. So last week was quite an embarrassing disaster when at the end of my lectures I was not able to show you something that was actually working. And well, the reason was last week after 1 hour 15 minutes or 1 hour 20 minutes I had, well, shown to you these things that I have really prepared. And then I said, oh, I still have time, I can show you something else, something more. And the real next step that I wanted to show you did not work at all. And well, that's a big problem here. And I promised to me, I'm not going to do this again. And I'm just about to do it again. Well, let's have a look in the fix that was necessary last time, and it was in the app state. So what actually was somehow necessary last time was to add these 2 lines to the constructor of app state in order to be able to use get from users and have users when I move this app state thing through all these areas. I'm not sure whether within our current router we still need to do that. It doesn't harm me, so this is not too bad. So the next thing now is that we wanted to have a subcomponent for all these main features. And we'll have a look at that, and then we are done with our that is things that I have prepared and that I really need to show you. So the main page here has page props too. Yes, that's true. But it has its own state. So we are splitting the overall state into different types. So the app component needs this app state here to provide common information that is shared between all these login, enter, register page. So we are jumping from login page, from enter page to register page to whatever, to main page or to login page. And in the enter page, you provide your email. In the register page, you provide your name. You create the user. Then you go to the main page where you still want to know what is the user. Now we will have quite a number of things within this area of the main page. We are just starting with this. Suppliers, products, orders, arrivals, pickings, these kinds of stuff. So we will have a huge number of additional things that needs to be maintained in our state because these different pages are sharing this information. And however, these pages here, well, they do not really deal with the current email that has been entered here. So they do not need to know about the shared information that are used within the user pages. So we have a new, data domain that is going to open. And therefore, I have had this great idea, which I'm not sure whether it's going to work, to use another kind of state. So main state is a new type, which is currently just hosting the list of suppliers and which is going to host this have suppliers thing here, which is not yet implemented. However, it's hopefully unknown word.
Yeah, it's just a typo.
Oh yeah, okay, it's a typo. And how should it? Just one P? Does it have a correction?
No, this is just a simple word check.
No quick fix? So why did I install that? Okay. This is the type for the supplier. Currently a supplier has a name, an email, and an account, which shows how many money are we going to send over to the supplier. So when we actually, a delivery, some goods arrive at our warehouse, then we pay the supplier. And because I do not want to deal with PayPal or international money transfer, I just put some money on this account and then we are done. Okay? And then somehow the supplier is able to withdraw this money and get it over to Italy. And so for the sake of simulation, I would like to keep track on how many money I'm currently have paid to this supplier, and we will have a list of transactions here, and that's coming soon. So our main state now has a list of suppliers, and then we will have a list of products, and we will have a list of orders and a list of transactions and these kinds of stuff all here in the main state. And these are informations shared between the different pages that that are yet to be implemented. Okay. Therefore, if we go for main, not main state, but main, I hate this one here. It's so main TSX. My main component now has still page props. So like the other things, which gives it access to the app state. However, it maintains a state of a different type. We do this binding for set state, we do this binding for button actions, that pretty much is it. And then we need to go for the suppliers page, because there's something else in the suppliers page. The suppliers page has its own properties. So the reason is we want to, sorry. Main TSX. So why are you going away? I want you permanently.
You have to double click the file if you want to stick it. If you use one simple click it, then you only open it temporarily.
Okay. Thank you. I need to double click on the file, then it's sticky. Okay. So the suppliers thing gets this dot state as a parameter and this dot set state. So we are in the main component. So the state that is passed as a parameter is a main state. And then I really also use main state here as a property name. And suppliers. Then I have to declare the properties of my suppliers page in another type, which is this one here. And it says, okay, the properties of all the pages that are below the main page contain a main state and a main set state method, where I still use any because I do not know how to declare the type of this pretty complicated action thing here. So there's the function that is going to change this one here. Okay, that was an important information. So the sub-pages are going to use this, and the suppliers edit just does the same thing. It also uses these main props. So suppliers and suppliers edits are sub-pages of main pages, and they share the common main state and no longer the app state. That's a complicated stuff. So that's important information here. And if we did that right, we can go for the edit thing, suppliers edit. Yeah. There we have an OK action. So it has asked for the email, it asked for the supplier, and it has an OK action. And I was starting to implement this OK action, and now we are really leaving safe ground. And the very much next thing that I wanted to do was this here. And for some reason there seems to be a problem. No, it compiles. It's fine. Cool. And so I could actually start to implement this. And actually I will show you what to be done here in the next week. So it's not part of your homework. So let's conclude. What is your homework? Main page, suppliers page, suppliers edit page, as far as it was in our thing. And not to forget, I would like to extend your you should make use of this Cypress React selector, and to make this meaningful, your initial scenario should be something like Bob logs out, Carly logs in and out, check that you have 2 users. 2 users, check that you have Bob and Carly in your users. Okay.
Can you wrap the scenario into another bullet point so that you can see that it's a scenario and not one part to implement? These 3 things, just.
Okay?
Yeah.
So this is installation things, and this is how I would like you to extend our Cypress scenario, and that is what you are going to check. In Sing, I would like to write down use the main state. Where should I do that? It's part of the scenario, so the main pages should use this main state thing. That is something which is important too, and which is a good start for the next week. So, next
question.
There are questions?
Supplier page.
Yeah, so what I actually want to do next week, so the question is, didn't you want to do the supplier page next week? Yeah, well actually, what I want to do next week is the have supplier function. And so the suppliers page, let's go for that one, is currently very simple. It has just these 2 buttons. So next week we will actually extend it to show the list of known suppliers. And lists are a pretty complicated thing in React again, and therefore we will do that on next week. So your suppliers page is good enough if it has the button that sends you back to main, and if it has a button that allows you to go to add a new supplier. And then we want this edit one supplier page, and then we are fine if that one sends you back to the supplier list. However, it does not yet need to function. It's okay if it's just the empty pages and the actions are still not yet done. So you do not really need to program the OK action yet, and your suppliers do not need to show the list of suppliers because we have no list of suppliers that we could show. And so the very next thing that needs to be done is, after all, to implement this have suppliers thing in order to have really entries within that list. Then we need more than one entry, and then we change the suppliers page to show the list of all the entries, and perhaps we will have a search field. I don't think we will actually manage it. That's an extra thing, perhaps later on. Okay, yet another question. Can you show the suppliers edit again? Here you are. And what would you like to show? The OK action or the render thing? Yeah, you can actually stop the video and then look at it, and that should actually give you all the things that you need to know. That's the OK action, 21, 22, and that's the top thing, 21, 22, 23. So, Thank you for your attention, and we will see you again on Thursday, where you show us these things that are the current homework, these things, and I will switch to Discord now, and there were some people that wanted to show something improvements on the last assignment, and someone who wanted to show his first assignment and these kinds of stuff. So we will be around for some hour something in order to show your work, and then we will see us again on Thursday and next lecture on Monday. Thank you for your attention.